Hey guys, AJ here, back on another one. So today we're going to talk about modern selfish women, and we're going to look at a video by Just Pearly Things. And for those who don't know Just Pearly Things, she's blowing up pretty big on YouTube and other things, and she talks about men's rights and advocating for men. And the best part about her channel is she doesn't tell men what to do. She just tells all these women who come on her show kind of like what a man's perspective is, and then talks about like men's rights and other things. So check out her channel. I'll leave the link in the description box. But yeah, so this video, I made a video recently about how European men, like Englishmen, are going to Eastern Europe to find women because English women are just insufferable. And this is kind of illustrating why I think that is. And let's just jump into this, and you'll see just how selfish this woman is. Now, just for some context, Pearl, she's American. This is Pearl. She lives in London, so a lot of her guests are English. So that's why everyone has an English accent. So let's just jump into this, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Let's go.
Is a baby worth your career? Would you say?
No.
No. So you wouldn't ever give up your...
And look at the guy's reaction on the right. She asked her, is a baby worth your career? And this woman straight up said no.
career for a child?
No, I would do both.
Okay.
I would like to think that if I have, obviously I don't have kids at the moment, but if I had kids in the future, I would still keep my career because I want to progress. Yeah.
So,
But do you see how her priorities are all messed up? Once you have kids, your kids are your priority. Like, I don't have any kids, but I mean, I'm saying they're supposed to be priority before everything else. You can even say, my kids are my priority, therefore I'm going to progress my career so that I can make things better for my kids. But she's trying to say that her career is a priority over her children. Just think about how crazy that is. And remember, the West is a very small place. The UK, Canada, United States, where all this, these types of progressive female ideals is a very small part of the world. The rest of the world, Africa, the Middle East, Asia, they don't think this way. South America, Mexico, women don't think this way. Let's get into it.
how many hours a week do you work?
60 plus.
60 plus, 65 hours a week.
Yeah, probably.
So who would watch the kids?
I would have to pay for childcare.
So let's jump in there too. So imagine if you are a successful guy and you want to marry this chick, which I don't know why you would, then you're basically just getting a womb. You aren't getting a mother who would even raise your kids. And you wonder why men in Europe are going to Lithuania, Romania, Russia. They don't talk this way there.
Okay, so you would want to pay someone else to raise your kids?
I don't think they would obviously. I don't think they would always be raising them.
They would.
I mean, 65 hours a week they would.
Yeah.
Right?
If you had the choice, because
hopefully your man's working as well. So
Maybe I would cut down my hours, but I wouldn't give my career up for the child.
Think about that. She just said this brazenly.
No way. I'd still like to progress in doing that. I'd like to think that I could provide for that child as well.
Would you be okay with the man not working?
No. If I'm one.
Boom, there you go. So she wants to have this career and this high-priced anything, blah, blah, blah. But then says, well, I wouldn't want a guy to actually stay home and raise the kids either. Men don't think this way. If you're a lawyer, a doctor, if you're some blue-collar guy who has his business and you own your own trucking firm or you have this plumbing business, you are more than willing to meet a nice girl who's traditional, whatever, and then have 3 or 4 kids. And if you can afford it, have her stay home. That's always been the traditional thing, because someone has to raise the kids if that's what you want to do. I know that a lot more men don't want to even get married anymore, but for those that do, that's the ideal setting. But women, because of hypergamy, would never want a guy to do that. And that's why oftentimes they can't have the same opportunities, is because they don't have that kind of vice president role in their marriage that men can get. For instance, a guy who's a CEO, he can work 70 hours a week and then have his family because his wife doesn't work, and then she'll take care of everything because he makes millions of dollars a year or whatever. But a woman who's a CEO, how is she going to have a family if she can't marry a guy who will be kind of this beta male role, you know? Let's get back into it.
Working, he's got to work too.
Why can't he stay at home?
Because we both need to provide. If I'm working however many hours a week, 40 or
Why can't you be
however.
a house husband and look after the kids?
Yeah.
No.
And look at her face. She just never even considered any of this, and it's all feelings.
Turns your coochie dry, doesn't it? Coochie turns dry when you hear that, innit?
It's like,
Dries up.
You don't
what
try.
even is that?
What if he earns,
Dried up.
Gross.
what if he earns enough money to look after you, the kids? Would you stay at
Yeah,
home?
but what if he leaves? What if he left?
And that's just the thing, guys. There's this narrative. Again, women file for divorce 70 to 80% of the time. If they're college educated, it's 90% of the time. Men don't leave marriages. I'm telling you, there's this trope about the guy going home to the old battle axe, or the guys who stop by the lodge or the Legion on the way home. They even had it on the Flintstones. You remember Fred and Barney? They would go to the lodge with the moose horns or whatever, and then they would drink beer and bitch about and complain about their wives. That means that a guy is in a relationship that he can't stand, but he's in it for decades. That's what men do. It's women who leave.
What if he
You can
stays?
take half.
He could do, but it's 50-50, isn't it? So, no,
No, I mean, you have did you go to college?
Of course not.
Did you graduate?
no.
Okay. 70 to 80% chance. So there's only a 20 to 30% chance he leaves. So it's like most likely that you would leave, not him.
Silence.
But I'm still gonna progress in my career. Even if there was more chance of me leaving than him, I wouldn't expect him to give up work, as I wouldn't either. Because if I expected him to give up work and there's more chance of me leaving, what is he gonna do?
Do you think that's
Be a man and get a job. That's what men do.
selfish?
To not give up work?
Yeah, what about the kids? You neglect the children. I mean,
Yeah, you chose to have kids.
yeah, and it's more likely that someone outside of the home could abuse a child. Like a lot of kids get abused. I mean, there's horror stories that people DM me of getting abused at daycare and by nannies and that sort of thing. Like you're opening your child up.
That's facts. It's absolute facts. A lot of times now, especially you look in the news, there's a lot of daycares and stuff where they're abusing kids, and there was that one a while ago where they had a fight club with the kids. It's not funny, but they had these little toddlers fighting and they were placing bets. And sorry guys, I have a sick sense of humor, but that's pretty funny. Let's jump back into it.
That could still happen even if I'm not working.
It's a lot less likely if you are home
Not
all the
necessarily,
time.
because if the person, let's say, the person doing the abusing was a family member, like you hear, uncles and stuff like that, and I've only got to take my child to see their uncle once a week for that to happen. It doesn't matter whether I'm working or not. That stuff can still happen.
I know, but you wouldn't say it would be less likely if you were there.
65 hours, remember?
That's a
Yeah,
lot
but
of time.
I'm saying I would cut it down.
Okay, let's cut it down to 40.
Yeah, let's cut it down to 40.
Yeah,
That's still full-time
That's still
work.
full time.
Yeah.
yeah. But I don't think.
Your child's going to be on the ends with the gangs.
It's facts. He's basically saying that your kid's gonna be in those streets because you aren't there to raise them and take care of them.
It's
I
going to be
don't
outside.
think the possibility of abuse is any larger just because I'm at work.
So,
And that's because you are a knucklehead.
and I have a question. So you put yourself in, do you want to be married?
Yeah.
So you put yourself in the guy's point of view. What does he get from a wife that's working all the time? If he's making money, your money's nothing to him.
That's facts. Any successful guy, heck, even any above average earning guy, a woman's money doesn't mean anything because they don't spend it on us, and we don't have access to it. So what's the point?
So what would he? He doesn't get a mother. Why would he marry you?
We are building a life together, though. I would still like to think that I would be a mother because I'm also trying to provide for our children, making sure we have better things together. So, like, for example, if...
But I'm saying you can't say anything with your career and your money, because if a guy has money, so all of my brothers, they make six figures, all of them, and they don't give a shit about a girl's money.
That's true. I'm telling you, if you are successful guy and you already have a nice place, a nice car, you are just putting a woman into your life, and most men don't want to build a life where they are reliant on a woman's salary to have a life. That's just foolishness.
Like it's nothing to them because they have money. So you can't say money, anything else, because most guys, then they get married, they want a mother for their children, but if you're not going to be the mother, what do they get?
I'd still be a mother. I don't think me working stops me being a mother.
It does.
Like, no way.
It absolutely does.
This chick, I think she was huffing glue before this or something, because she's kind of dull-headed. I don't know.
No, my sister and her boyfriend, they've got one child together. They both still work. She doesn't work like a full-time or finishes work at like 3 or whatnot. She's still a mother to her child.
Does her partner make 6 figures?
No.
If he made 6 figures, do you think she would pay for a thing?
Pay for a childcare.
Do you think she would be paying for anything if her partner was making 6 figures? No. The answer is no.
Facts, absolute facts. They assume that they're gonna be with a non-performing male, but because most women think men are just trash anyways. But when you factor in that there's men out there who are, well, a lot of men are outperforming most women, but if you get that guy that's willing to do the exceptional for you, what would you do? And she's not even factoring that in.
And you can, this is actually the more, so I'm opening a wife school soon. So if you're 3 or 4 and you want to be a wife, sign up for my school. DM me on Instagram.
Teach him some game, Pete.
DM me on Instagram.
Teach him some game, Pete.
Not me. I'm not a wife. But I've been talking to like women. Like I talked to this woman who fostered 10 children, and like she's like a homemaker, and she said she raised 10 kids on less than $10,000 a year. And
Now, I want to stop there, and I've seen in the comments of this video where everyone's like, that isn't possible. Okay, look. I used to work with a guy, he was an attorney, and he was just starting out. So he was making like 85,000 a year. But he was Mormon. He and his wife had 5 kids. 5. And he was the only one working. And somehow they stretched $85,000 a year to where they can raise 5 kids. And I actually think that they had some more, but I mean, they didn't live some luxurious baller life, but they had a decent life, you know? You just have to be willing to just live at your means and then plan, you know? But he was saying, oh yeah, we have a house and a car and all this, you know, all this other stuff. But they had 5 kids and he was like 28. It was nuts. So you can stretch things and make things work. Just what we consider normal now involves a lot of luxuries, you know?
like, but most people refuse to move out of the city because they want the lifestyle. So, I mean, like a lot of, she was saying that a lot of people like think you need 2 incomes, but they just like want to eat out. They want new clothes.
That's
they
facts.
want like,
Yep.
like imagine
It's
if
about
you,
the lifestyle.
The lifestyle.
Yeah, but
Keep
like,
up with the Joneses.
But I think naturally with that lifestyle comes slightly better things and opportunities as well. If you look at a child whose parents are potentially living in poverty against a child who's...
But do you see how she went to the extreme and talked about poverty? No one's talking about poverty. They're talking about just living a nice, frugal, middle-class lifestyle.
parents are making a bit of money, they've got better things for school, better opportunities when they're older. You know, maybe their parents can buy their first car and so on. Whereas the other child hasn't got that straight away.
Well,
There's one thing you can't buy,
Do you know
which
what
is
that
which is
creates?
time, which is time
Time.
and teaching. So the
Absolute facts.
so for that child, I think I would want to teach that child, and if it's not necessarily me doing it full time because I might be at work, I would want someone who I am.
But what if I'm working whilst the child's at school? I pick the child up from school.
But now she's talking about school. They're talking about those formative years. That's before first grade.
I can't be a mother to him at school.
That's different. That's after the
I
child.
mean,
Yeah,
I think that's most people would be fine with that. But when they're under the age of 5, and even if it's after school, I don't think that's 40 hours a week. Because what is it? They get to school at 9. They stop at what, 2:30,
It's
3?
less, yeah.
You'd be working part-time at that
Yeah.
point, really.
Part-time.
And you can see those long silences. This chick knows she's wrong. She's just trying to argue. Was it shame, insults, guilt, and the need to be right? So we're gonna end this here. You guys check out Just Pearly Things. She has some pretty good content. Let me know what you guys think. I mean, do you really think that modern women slash Western women are worth marrying? I mean, with this level of selfishness where you can't even see one that wants to have a kid that will put the kid first. I mean, you guys chime in the comments and let me know what you think. All right, you guys, like, subscribe. I appreciate all you guys. You guys are the best. This is AJ, and I'm out of here.